Okay, everybody doing clay. I am trying to remember everything I need to tell you, so we're going to see how this goes. I may have to add stuff. Always check teacher pages, because if there is something that I forget in one of these videos, I'm going to put it in teacher pages, and I'm going to probably try to highlight it some way, make it red, make it bold, make it a funny color that isn't anywhere else in there. Something to draw your attention. So if I do forget something, that's where you're going to find it. We're going to be working with clay, as you've looked at. I have had some documents up for hand building and how to work with clay, just to get you familiar, because we haven't ever done anything like this before. We've always just done, you've made things with your hands, animals, balls, nests. So we're going to do more than that. We're going to actually learn the technique. So hand building, you don't need a wheel to spin. It works really well. And I haven't done it since college, so this was a lot of fun for me to do. So we're going to start with the things you need. You need a jar, not a big one. The one I had is so big. It was actually, I think yogurt comes in these now with just with a lid on it. So I got one, and that's what I used for mine, for my slip. And that's what you use for your joints of your clay. So this one didn't have a lid because the lid was a yogurt lid, so I just put a sandwich bag on it with a rubber band. So lid or that, but this is, for right now, for what we're doing, it's all the bigger we need. You're going to need a ruler. You're going to need, if you can, maybe plastic spoon, fork, knife, any of those. Those work really good for the tools for smoothing out things and attaching edges and stuff like that. A pencil works, the point of the pencil works good for scoring, but you could also use a toothpick, you could use a paper clip, you could use any of those things, and there will be a list in teacher pages of things you can choose from. You're going to need to protect things. You need to protect your countertop, your table, whatever you're working on. Clay does scratch because it does have grit in it. So if you, like, my table is super old, it probably wouldn't have mattered if I did it right on my table, but it is very moist. My table's wood, so that part wouldn't be good. I had a piece of canvas that I used, but you could use heavy cardboard. Excuse me. You could use, if you didn't have that, the last resort is newspaper because it's so thin, but cardboard, canvas, a regular board if you have one, or masonite board. I listed a couple other things in there. So things like that. Or cardstock was another thing you could use. We've used that at school before. It does tend to buckle, but so did my canvas even buckled a little bit because for some reason the clay was very damp this time. All right, so you also want to protect your clothing. I wore an apron for when I did it. If your mom has an old apron, it's not that stuff doesn't wash out. It does. You do want to shake it out before you wash it, though, and get all the extra off. It's just for keeping your clothes clean. Don't put any of this down the drain. If you have some on your hands and it's not all clumpy or not big chunks under your nails, wash it in the sink. That's okay. Make sure you put a lot of water down with it. But if for your stuff, like my stuff here is pretty dirty, I might wash this in here, but I'm going to err on washing it outside, just simply because I don't want to clog up my drains. So wash your stuff outside as much as you can, especially like when I'm all done, when I want to clean this slip container and it's got all kinds of stuff still in it, I'm going to wash that outside. I'm not going to wash it in here, so outside. Do it out there, don't clog your drains. A paintbrush, if you have it, to put the slip on, you can paint it on with a paintbrush. I didn't have one, believe it or not. So I actually used my finger for most of that, and that worked just fine. I also used the end of the spoon and the end of the fork. That worked fine too. So it's super, you don't have to have special tools to do this. Now, if we were trimming pots and stuff like that, which we could have done, but it was just too much time for videos, then you would need some more specialized tools, but we do not need them for what we are doing. Let me take a peek here, make sure I have covered everything I can think of. Paper towels, that's a good thing to have. Have it all ready too, so it's all ready. I think that's everything on there. If you have questions, you are more than welcome to email me. Honestly, you're more than welcome to call me. I might make for a busy day. I'll be at school from 9 to 10, then I've got to run to Hobby Lobby and get more clay. So 7th grade can do this too. Ended up needing more. I think that's all. So I hope you enjoy it. I know it's different than the way we usually do clay, but it's fun, and you end up with a neat product at the end. I made two things. I made a coil pot, actual bowl, and then on the videos I made to make with you a box out of the slab. So, and we actually had enough. I had enough to make a lid. So hopefully you'll have enough to make a lid too. High school, 8th grade, and 7th grade will have to choose whether you do a coil pot or a box. So you get to choose coil or slab. 5th and 6th grade, you're going to be doing coil, just because it's simpler. It doesn't seem like it, but it is. There's not the measuring and holding and everything involved. So, all right. Hope you have fun. Bye.